Over a year ago I made a video discussing the differences between Team Fortress 2 and Overwatch, and ultimately coming to the conclusion that the games are different enough that they honestly shouldn't be compared. Now watch a year later as I will now compare them in this video. I was initially going to leave the why I prefer TF2 part out of the title, but I ultimately decided to put it in there to immediately address any fears that some of you may be having. For I too was once a fellow fan of a few TF2bers who ultimately decided to leave their old and dear friend for a rich new kid on the block, and understand the fear and sadness of them leaving. Well, I'm here to say that that is not me! Hey guys, it's your third favourite Australian TF2ber here, Ihasnotomato. And now that it's been over a year since Overwatch came out, I think I've finally solidified my thoughts on the game and how it compares to Team Fortress 2 in my opinion. You see, when Overwatch first came out, I would say I would have given it a 7.5 out of 10, pretty good but room and potential for improvement. In fact, I would say that TF2 would have probably been around that when it first came out for me as well. But while TF2 is like a 9.5 in my eyes, let's see where Overwatch now lies. Overwatch, in my personal opinion, has gone from 7.5 to a 7.5! Yeah, unfortunately for Overwatch in my perspective, while it made big, fancy, sparkling waves and claims to be as the TF2 killer, in my opinion it has failed to impress me for longer than its initial release. Now before I go any further than this, I want to address any misconceptions before they start to arise. I do not think that Overwatch is a bad game, and I do play it still occasionally with friends. This video is only going to cover how I feel about the game in comparison to Team Fortress 2, and why I prefer TF2 and will probably pick to play TF2 9 out of 10 times. And just remember, these are all my personal opinions. If you disagree, then congratulations, you are a human being with your own thoughts and opinions. Good job! With that out of the way, let's get into it. Let's address all the reasons I prefer TF2 to Overwatch bit by bit. Number 1. The competitive feeling. Starting off with probably one of the most minor and personal issues I have is the overly competitive atmosphere of Overwatch. Now I know what you're gonna say. Well, online FPS games are supposed to be competitive, and nowadays that just might be true. And it's partially the reason why I don't play other online FPSs besides TF2. Because I find myself having limited time to play games, and when I do, I just want to chill out and have fun. I want to win, of course, but I also don't want to be constantly stressed out at every little decision I make, and be yelled at mercilessly for not learning how to not die ever. No one else in this whole game has killed me once. Probably.
Except, you know, Winston.
Mercy res.
Tell him dead! Tell him to fuck himself.
Mercy, you haven't used your res yet, Mercy.
God fuck! Because I was fucking dead, yeah! Yeah, fucker! I mean, TF2 has gotten a bit more competitive, sure, but at least I can play Sniper without being screamed at for not being great at them. But the only way I can get good is to play the class. But I can't play the class because I'm not good. So I need to play the class to get good. But I can't play the class to get good. But the only way I can get good is to play the class. But I can't play the class because I'm not good. So I need to play the class to get good. But I can't play the class to get good. But the only way I can get good is to play the class. But I can't play the class because I'm not good. So I need to play the class to get good. But I can't play the class to get good. And I suppose that all boils down to the fact that TF2 has much larger teams than Overwatch, where you don't have to have everybody doing their absolute best. Instead, people can chill, play whatever class they like, and just have fun. Which, I know, might sound really not fun for some people, but it is for me. I guess I just don't like the constant pressure to succeed, and I like just taking it easy at the end of a hard day to kill some peeps and win some games, and honestly, what's wrong with that? Number 2, variety. Okay, another pretty opinionated fucking thing here, but does anyone else feel like that they've kind of seen it all in Overwatch? I mean, like, it's really odd to me how much variety Overwatch seems to have on the surface with like 100 fucking classes and stuff, but when you've played the game for a few hours, you get it all down pretty quickly. You learn all that each character is capable of and how to use them, then you pick the one you are best at. I know I'm not being very specific here, but I mean, the game to me became somewhat predictable after a while. Like, there's always going to be a meta that's in cycles that people will usually use the same few characters every time. I mean, I can't remember the last time I played a game of Overwatch without an overconfident Genji who thinks he's the best player on the team, on both teams. I guess once you've seen it all once, there isn't much new to explore and try out gameplay wise. You just keep honing your skills with a couple of characters and learn to counter the rest. Now don't get me wrong here, I get the point of that, particularly in a competitive game. You don't want as much random crazy shit flung at you, you want to know all the tricks up everyone's sleeves to make it a fair game or whatever. But for me that just made every game feel samey, and that's not even mentioning the small amount of maps they have compared to TF2's hefty arsenal. Which, as a side note, it's been a year and they've released like 3 or 4 maps, and I'm gonna be honest, I feel like both Eichenwald and Moonbase are broken as fuck. Once again, my personal experience, but I'm just saying, I'm calling a bit of shenanigans when my team fails to defend Eichenwald like 4 times in a row to a sweep, and when we attack, we also sweep? I'm just saying. Although I will add in this little side note during the making of this video, they announced Junkertown, so it looks like they're going to be making more maps more often, and it looks pretty cool as well. And also, again, over a year later, and they have released 4 characters, provided you count Doomfist, which are often ignored after a meta at first, but after a few games you get used to them too, and bada bing bada boom, same old game again, fuck you. I really hope I'm not the only one who feels this though. Like after a few hours it feels like you've seen it all and nothing new or crazy really ever feels like it happens that much. Compared to TF2 where I personally find variety fucking everywhere, all the way from the team comps to different NG setups or a myriad of different weapon loadouts and personal cosmetics. All of which give a lovely personalised feeling by the way. One game you might have a soldier spending 90% of the game in the air racking up airstrike kills. The next you might see a medic uber chain fucking over the entire enemy team and being completely unkillable. With TF2 there is so much variety that every game feels like a new experience to me when Overwatch just straight up lacks that feeling for me. But you can't blame Overwatch for not having much variety. I mean, at least they actually have updates, right? Or do they? Number 3. Updates? Oh, did Ihasnotomato just throw shade? Yes, I think he did. Okay, so I came to this realization a few months ago because I was trying to figure out why Overwatch, despite all of its events, does it still feel samey to me? Well, I think I figured it out. You see, TF2 has updates. Overwatch has content packs. Allow me to explain. TF2 has massive, big updates that, in most cases, we don't even know what we'll be getting. It could be anything from new game modes, new maps, new weapons, God forbid, and more often than not, a whole new gameplay mechanic that might just change the whole game. Allow me to give some examples. The Gold Rush update gave us payload and class-specific achievements and the fact that classes can have their own unlockable weapons. The Pyro update modified the Flamethrower and gave us the Air Blast. The Heavy update gave us the Holy Sandwich. The Scout update gave us Bonk and Sandman Stun. Sniper vs Spy gave us 2 class packs in 1. War gave us an awesome competition to see how many demos and soldiers we killed. Engineer update gave us the Golden Range competition with the ability to hold buildings. Main Economy gave us a fuck ton of new items and the Manco store. Screen Fortress gave us fucking bosses. Australian Christmas gave us medieval mode. Replay update gave us replay mode. Replay update gave us a fuck ton of new items. Pirate gave us Pirates. Energy gave us and then you got Overwatch. Oh, cool, skins. Can I get them at any time? And no, they can only be gotten exclusively during the event. Well, what else you got? We got a new game mode. Oh, sweet, which is only available for the event. We also have some new emotes, a fuck ton of voice lines and sprays, and like 2 highlight intros. Cool. Got any balance changes or updates? Balance changes? We don't do those with events. Oh, I see. Want to come in? Want to come play for a while? Don't want to miss the event. Gotta spend a fuck ton of money if you're gonna even get a chance to get those 2 skins you want. Oh no, I gotta. I can't. I gotta, do anything else. And that's another issue I have. When Overwatch has a balance update, all that really happens is that someone will be tweaked or nerfed, and as a result, it will rotate them in and out of the meta. But if a change is made to one weapon in TF2, then everything can fucking change. People will go fucking crazy. You'll have people saying that it's both the best and worst thing to ever happen to the weapon. You'll have players and YouTubers alike experimenting with every single new weapon combination they can make to see how much it affects the whole game and how it is played. I mean, even the most minor and nonsensical change can affect what happens in the game, and to me, that's always super exciting. And then you got Overwatch. Let's see what they... Oh, I see they removed Reaper's balls. Awesome. The thing is Overwatch just has events that only last a little while, and although that's fine, that is the ultimate reason I still give it a 7.5 out of 10. The truth is I saw that Overwatch had a lot of potential when it first came out to possibly become as great or even greater than TF2 given that they catch up on updates. But over a year later, I honestly see no change in the game in that regard, and as a result, I'm keeping it where it stands at a 7.5. Conclusion! At the end of the day, because of those reasons, I'm out. Because of these reasons, I find that TF2 is the game I prefer and probably always will. Overwatch would seriously need to step up its game if it wants to hold a candle to TF2 in my eyes. But like I said at the beginning, despite all this, I don't think Overwatch is a bad game. I just don't think it's living up to its potential, and yeah, you could argue it's also not the game for me, and I would agree with you there. But I actually do still have fun playing it, and if a friend invites me to play, I'm not going to decline him or anything. I still think it could be a fun game and a fairly enjoyable experience. I mean, hell, there's a lot to love. I love the characters and the art style, the lore, the cinematics, etc. Like I said, the new cinematic came out while I was making this and I thought it was a lot of fun. I mean, hell, I just finished uploading a series where me and my friend Reflex played through competitive placements for Overwatch drunk. Although with a title like that, you can see how much I really care for the game. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Overwatch in comparison to TF2. Although I still play Overwatch from time to time with friends, I wouldn't expect to see it appearing on this channel very often anymore. Like I said, Overwatch would really need to do something bloody spectacular to get me properly invested in it, but for now, I'm a TF2 for life. And that was terrible, don't ever say that for God's sake. I've been Ihasnotomato, and I will see you guys next time. And I'm gonna go get wasted now. Goodbye.